Hello friends, this is Dr. Sudhansh Sharma from School of Computers and Information Sciences, Indira Gandhi National Open University. In this session, we will be taking care of some of the examples of C program. In the earlier sessions, we learned about fundamentals of C programming. We learned about different data types, different operators, different constructs, conditional constructs, looping constructs. Now we are going to apply the understanding of the past sessions by writing some of the programs, and we will try to understand the logic running behind. Now firstly, we would like to go for an example program to test whether a given number is even or odd. Now you are supposed to understand, you can give your logic in a manner that whether you want the number to be entered by the user or you want to specify the number at one time. So far as the flexibility of the program is concerned, you are supposed to practicize always that the number is entered by the user. So firstly, you use the preprocessor directives and include define. These are some of the directives which are already discussed, that you can define your macros, you can define your functions, you can define your variables, and you can include the already written libraries in the form of the header files. Likewise, over here we are using the hash include preprocessor directive to include the stdio standard input output header file. Now the help for this file, if you want to know something more about that, what are the different functions, what are the different features are associated with stdio.h. When you are writing the program and the compiler mode, the turbo C prompt, you are just select stdio.h and press Ctrl F1, then the help for stdio.h will be activated. Same facility can be used if you want to know anything about any of the functions you want to learn about. Say you want to learn about scanf, you simply select scanf and press Ctrl F1 in turbo C environment. So the program body starts with the main function within the opening and closing curly braces. Firstly, you want the number to be entered by the user. So you need one variable. So that variable, say you want it to be integer because you want to check whether the number is even or odd. So int num is the variable. Now you want to have that variable to be entered by the user. So to have the interactivity, you print, you want to inform the user to enter the variable. So enter the number, you first you ask for the entry of the number variable num, then you scanf %d and comma and num. And num is actually the address of the variable num in the memory, which is going to store the value entered by the user for the variable num. Now if num %2, percent is taking care of the remainder. When num variable is divided by 2, what is the remainder? If remainder is turning out to be 0, then the number is even. Otherwise, the number is odd. So if num %2 is equal to 0, then if this condition is true, it will go into the opening and closing braces and about the sequence of statements which are taken to be considered when the if statement is true. But if the if statement is false, this the statement immediately out of the if construct is executed. So if you enter say 6, so 6% 2 is equal to 0, so it will be written that number is even. But if you enter num is equal to 5, then 5% 2 is not equal to 0, then it will be written that print the number is odd. I hope you understand how the if construct works. Now if construct this is a very useful application, that many a times you need to swap the variables. You are having one variable who is storing value 5, say other variable is storing value 10, but you want that 10 now should be assigned to first variable, say A, and 5 should be assigned to the second variable B. Now in order to do this type of activity, that is the swapping of the variable, you need one more variable which is not assigned any value. So you are having two containers who are they are storing something, and to swap the values, to interchange the container values, you need to have one more variable which is not containing any of the value. So to implement this logic, say we have three variables A, B and C. Variable A is assigned value 10, variable B is assigned value 5, and variable C is not assigned any value. Now we are printing the values of A and B with the help of the print command. Print A is equal to %d, B is equal to percent D, comma A, comma B. So, A and B values are successively passed on to the percent D of A and B variable. Now, if A is not equal to B, obviously 10 is not equal to 5. So, if this condition is true, then automatically the lines of code between the curly braces for if set is executed. So, firstly we are using C is equal to A. So, C is storing now the value of 10. Now, A is equal to B. So, A is now storing the value of B, that is 5. Now, after that we use the value B is equal to C. So, B will be now storing the value of C, which is in turn storing the value of A. So, automatically that means A is now storing the value of B and B is now storing the value of A. So, the values are interchanged and you can print those interchanged value by printing the interchange value A is equal to percent D, B is equal to percent D, and this will show you that now the new values are A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 10. I hope you are able to understand that how to use this logic of swapping the variables, and you will find the practical usage of this program in many situations when you are going to program for in C programming language or any other programming language. In fact, also this logic works well. Now, we are having another program when we are having if and else if conditions are there, that say you want to go for the grading of the students, that if marks are greater than this much, then A grade is to be assigned, when is B grade is to be assigned, when C grade is to be assigned, or when, that means multiple conditions are being given. So, in that situation if and else if condition construct is used. So, if the you need to have the marks of the student, so you write a program where you initialize a variable marks say of data type int, and you ask the user to enter the marks. So, you use printf command and you ask the user to enter the marks, and you read those marks by using the scanf command, and you now use the construct. Now, let us use if else if construct. If marks are greater than 75, then print grades is A, grades are A. Else if, now else condition is there, after that one more condition is there, else if is used in that. Else if marks is greater than 60, printf pass with grade B. Else if marks is greater than 45, printf passed with grade passed and grade is C. And if the marks are still less than 45, then print failed. So, you can use those things else if and else if construct for multiple, when conditions are multiple. In the same situation, you was also told that switch statement can be used, but switch statement is much more comfortable, and we will be discussing about this also. But before that, we are supposed to discuss about the nested if, that within the if construct you are having another if, you are supposed to use another if construct. Likewise, let us write a program to find the greatest of the three numbers. So, the logic is displayed in the form of the flow chart also. With the help of the flow chart, you will be able to firstly understand the logic in a better manner, and you can directly deploy that logic in the form of the programming language. So, you entered three variables A, B, C, and if you see that A is greater than B, if this condition is true, you check whether A is greater than C. So, if A is greater than B and A is also greater than C, then obviously A is the greatest. Now, other way around, if A is greater than B, but A is not greater than C, that means C is greater than A, but A is greater than B, then automatically C is the greatest. Other way around, if A is not greater than B and B is greater than C, then B is the greatest. So, this logic can be written in the form of program, and you take three variables A, B and A, B, C, and one more variable high to identify that which variable is the greatest or the highest value, who is holding the highest value. So, three variables, the value of the three variables are entered by the users, and they are stored in the variables A, B and C. Now, first construct, firstly you check if A is greater than B, and if A is greater than B and then subsequently you find that it is true, then subsequently you are supposed to check that is A is greater than C. Yes, if it is true, then highest is equal to A. If A is greater than B, but A is not greater than C, that is A is less than C, then automatically C is the highest. Else, if B is greater than C, A is greater than B is there, okay, and B is greater than C, A is greater than B is found to be false, then automatically B is greater than A and B is also greater than C, then highest is B, otherwise highest is C. So, with this simple logic is directly mappable with the flow chart, and that means this is the designing phase of the program and this is the implementation phase of the program, and these two phases are to be mapped, and they are very it is very easy to understand that how designing phase and the implementation phase goes hand in hand. So, I also talked about the switch statement, and where we discussed that many a times you need to define a menu card, say you want to have information that what is the price list or what is the menu for the North Indian food stuff or the South Indian food stuff or whatever continental, whatever you want. So, the switch statement is having the construct like some expression is given, switch, say you want the user to enter some value, and based on that those entered expression, based on that entered value, the case is defined. So, the construct goes like that, switch expression case constant expression, say 1 hai, then when expression is 1, then what type of statements are to be executed, then we are using the break construct to come out of that set of case statements and go for the execution of the program. Let us understand this with this program again. So, let us understand this switch statement with the help of an example. Now, over here let us directly go to the main body where a variable character C is defined, and we are defining a variable of data type int, vowels, commas and periods. Now, vowel, comma and period are initialized to value 0. Now, C character is actually we are using the function getCh, which is defined in stdio.h, and we want to take continuous text from the user until the user enters $. So, whatever text is being entered by the user, we want to segregate that within the sentence or the text entered by the user, how many vowels are occurring. So, switch C. Now, if you go for the switch expression, firstly switch C. C is, say if character C turning out to be A, E, I, O, U, then automatically the variable vowel is incremented. So, vowel plus plus, and in case some comma is there, then automatically comma plus plus variable is incremented, and if some full stop is coming, then period variable is incremented. So, this is how the program is supposed to count for the vowels, commas and the periods which are occurring in the program. So, this program will be useful when you want to analyze the text at runtime, that how many vowels are occurring in the text. So, I hope you understand this program. Subsequently, some more things you need to understand that within the switch program, one thing was occurring, that is a break statement. What do we mean a break statement? And there is one more statement, that is a continue statement. So, to demonstrate the break statement, let's run this, let's understand this program where a main function, let's directly go to the main body of this program. We are using int x is equal to 0. That means, we are initializing a variable of data type int to 0, and this you need not to be afraid of this type of notation for semicolon and semicolon. We are not, neither we are initializing nor using any condition nor incrementing. So, this is for the infinite loop, this for loop will run for the infinite time. Now, we write the within the for loop, we write the construct. Why I am using this thing, that what will happen, how to use this break, to explicitly know how to use this break construct, we are running an infinite loop. So, if x is greater than equal to 10, break. So, but x is equal to 0. So, 0 is not greater than 10. So, it will not break. So, it will go into, so and else print x plus plus. So, x is incremented to value 1. Firstly, the value is x plus plus. So, firstly the value 0 is printed and x is incremented. So, x new value of x is 1. Now, x is equal to 1 is again not greater than 10. So, again it will print the value 1, again it will go, it will increment to 2. So, it will go up to say 10. Now, when value of x is increment, when say x is equal to 10. So, 10 is greater than equal to 10. So, equal to 10 condition is satisfied. So, it will break, that means it will come out of the for loop and it will print that's all friend. So, the values printed, all the loop was running for the infinite times, but it will execute only for the 10 values. So, it will print the value from 0 to 10. This is how you can control the execution of the loop with the help of a break statement. But many a times you want that if something happens, you just want to continue to the next statement, you just want to ignore that statement. And break statement is used that when some condition is turned out to be true, you just do not want to execute any further and wants to come out of the loop. So, when the situation is that your condition turns out true and you do not want to further execute, so you use break statement. But when some condition turns out to be true, but you want to further execute, you use continue statement. So, let us understand the continue statement also. Directly come to the main body, we are defining a variable int x. For x is equal to 1, x less than equal to 6, x plus plus. If x is equal to 3, continue. So, firstly x will be equal to 1. So, print %dx, so 1 will be printed. Then it is incremented to 2, 2 is not equal to 3, so 2 will be printed. Now, 3 is equal to 3, so 3 is not printed, it will continue. So, it will directly go to the value 4 and again 4 will. So, the value 3 will not be printed and it will be skipped. So, that is all for the understanding of the break and continue construct of the C programming. Let us understand the for construct again with the help of a suitable example. The for construct has got 3 sections: the initialization section, the test expression and the action. And after that, within the curly braces, we are having a set of statements which are to be executed. Now, over here we are giving a program to find the sum of n numbers. Say the number of numbers up to which we want to add up is entered by the user and it is stored in the variable n. So, we initialize 3 variables of data type int and they are I, n and sum. The variable sum is supposed to store the sum total of the all the values up to the number n. So, that is why its value is firstly initialized to 0. So, to have the interactivity, we print firstly that give the number enter the number. So, number n is entered by the user and that is read with the help of the scanf statement. So, scanf %d comma n will read the number. Now, if for I is equal to 1, now I is equal to 1 is the initialize statement, we are initializing the variable I is equal to 1. When I is less than equal to n, so 1 is less than, say number n entered is say 3. So, n 1 is less than 3, so I plus plus, so I should be incremented. So, firstly value I is equal to 1 and I is less than 3, okay. So, sum is equal to sum plus I. So, sum is equal to sum plus 1, that is 0 plus 1, the new value of sum will be equal to 1. Now, again it will go up, I is incremented to 2. So, 2 is less than 3. So, 2 is less than 3. So, again the condition is true. So, sum is equal to sum plus I, that is sum is equal to 1 plus 2, that is sum in now new stored value of sum is equal to 3. Now, I is incremented I plus plus, so I is equal to 3. Now, I is equal to 3, so I is not less than, but it is equal to 3. So, sum is equal to sum plus I. So, sum is equal to the last value of sum was 2, so 2 plus 3. So, that is equal to last value of sum was 3. So, 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So, 1 plus 2 plus 3, the answer is 6. Now, 3 is incremented to 4 and 4 is not less than 3. So, it will come out of the loop. So, it will print that sum of the series is sum and which is 6. So, you can if the you can print the value up to say 5, if the value is 5, then 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, that turns out to be 15. Now, we can write the same program with the help of the while construct. The while expression is while construct is having the construct like while expression, and then a set of statements is given. So let's write the same program with the help of the while construct. Let's directly go to the main section of the program. Now we are using int I and we are initializing it to 1. So int n and comma sum is equal to 0. Sum is again a variable which is used to store the sum of all the values up to which we want to have the sum total. Say we ask the user to enter the number n up to which they want to sum total the values, and that is stored in the variable n. The scanf statement takes up the value. Now when I is less than equal to n, so I is initialized to 1 and 1 is less than equal to 3. Say n entered by the user is 3, so 1 is less than 3. So sum is equal to sum plus I. So sum initial value is 0, so 0 sum is equal to 0 plus 1. So 1 will be new value of sum, and 1 I will be incremented to I plus 1, that is new value of I is equal to 2. So 2 is less than equal to 3, yes, again true. So sum is equal to sum plus I. So 1 plus 2, that is 3, new value of sum is 3, and I is incremented to new value incremented by 1. Now it is again less than, it is equal to 3. So 3, so last value of sum was equal to 3. So sum is equal to sum plus 3, so that means 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So again I is incremented by 1. Now it is no more, the condition is no more satisfied because 4 is not less than 3. So it will come out of the loop and it will print the sum to be 6. That means if you enter the value say 7, then the same logic will run and it will give you the answer 28. So let's go for another looping construct, that is a do while construct. The structure goes like this: do a set of statements while some expression is true or not. Now let's use this construct to write a program to print 10 numbers. We start directly with the main body of the program. We specify a variable int a is equal to 1, and we want to print 10 numbers. So firstly we like to execute a set of instructions. So do takes care of that. So print f %d a. So first value of a will be printed and a is incremented, that is a plus plus. Now while a is less than 11, so obviously the new value, that is a plus plus, that is 2 is less than 11. So again it will do the same thing. So new value of a will be printed, that is 2, and again a will be incremented to 3. So a plus plus increments to 3 and 3 is again less than 11. So again the do construct will be executed, and this is how the 10 values will be printed. Now because why it is written less than 11, because the moment a turns out to be 10, then 10 plus plus, that is 11, will be there. So 11 is not less than 11, so do construct will not be executed. So that's why the value, the numbers up to 10 will be printed. So this program was quite simple to understand, then, and I hope you understand that how do and while construct executes. So this covers up for constructs, while and do constructs, and you are also able to understand how the if and else if and the nested if constructs works in the C programming. Now we take care of the arrays, and we already learned about that array is a data structures which is holding multiple values of the same data types, and it could be a 2-dimensional, 1-dimensional, 3-dimensional, and even n-dimensional. If I say int mark size, so int is the data type of the array marks, and which is having the size, say if I write 15, it can hold the variable from 0 to 14. So let's use the concept of arrays to write some of the programs. Say let's use again a program to read the strings. Now string is an array of characters. So that's why I am to have input and output, we are using stdio.h. We are directly going to the main body and we are specifying character name 20. So character is the data type of the array whose name is name, and the size is of 20 elements. Now we are using scanf %s. %s is for the strings, and we are passing the base address of the array name 20. By simply passing the name of the array, we are actually passing the 0th index of the array, that is the base address, and it automatically stores the entire string of the length 20. So print your name is %s. If I say ABC, so scanf percent as ABC, and ABC is automatically stored in the array name. So this is how arrays are used to read the strings, to read the names in fact. So this will be more clear that if we want to write a program to find the sum of all the numbers entered in a two-dimensional array. So if an array is two-dimensional, then we want to have the nested loops. That means one loop is supposed to run within the loop. Why two nested loop? One loop is for the rows and other loop is for the columns. So we need to have a array, two-dimensional array. Over here it is num and its size is 5 5, that is 5 rows and 5 columns. To store the values, to store the sum of all the values entered by the user, we are having a variable sum and it is initialized to 0, and we are having two loops, one is for values of I and other is for values of k. So we are having a set of variables int I, k, sum and num. Num is a two-dimensional array. So first loop is for rows, that is taken care by I. So and because the size of the array is 5, so loop will run from 0 to 4. So for I is equal to 0, I less than equal to 4, I plus plus. Now for each row in each column, what are the values entered? We are going inside the loop. So for k is equal to 0, k less than equal to 4, k plus plus represents the columns in row first. So we are reading the values. So for first row, that means scanf %d num I k. So 0. So firstly the loop will run for I is equal to 0 value. So 0 and k equal to 0. So 0 0 value will be read and that will be added on to the variable sum. Then 0 1, 0 2, 0 3, 0 4, and subsequently those values are added to the sum. And when value of I this is completed, value of k is completed, it will go out of this loop, that is the loop of k will be finished and loop of I will come into action again, and next row, that is I is equal to 1, will come into the picture. So next row, that means I is equal to 1, and again for the first row 0 1 2 3 4 variables are being taken care and their values are stored in the sum variable. So this is how all the values of 5 cross 5 matrix will be added and their entire sum is represented in the variable sum. I hope you understand this program of nested loops and you are able to understand that how two-dimensional arrays are taken care. Now let us write a program to check that whether the string entered by the user is a palindrome or not. Now in order to use this, we are using a standard input output library, that is string.h. You can use various functions of this libraries. You can use strcmp functions, which is written over here, which is used over here, that is a string comparison function, which is used to compare the two strings str1 and str2. And over here, by using the for loop, we are actually writing the string reversal code for string reversal, and that can directly be accessed by using strrev function, that is string reversal function. But let us understand this program first. We are using two arrays, str1 and str2, and these are two arrays of data type character and each having the size of 80 variables. And we are using two integer type variables I and j, and firstly we want the user to enter the string 1. So if you remember the first program of arrays, simply we are passing the base address of string 1 and that is being read, that is scanf as str1 will store the string entered by the user in the variable str1. Now for the reversal of the string, we are using this logic that we are initializing a variable j is equal to 0 and we are running a loop that for I is equal to strlen, that is string length. We are using the for loop in a reverse manner. We are firstly taking the length of the string and that length of the string is stored in the variable I, and we are continuously checking that whether the length is greater than 0 or not and decreasing the value of I. So if the variable is OLO, so we are storing the value OLO. Now the string length is 3 and we are storing it in the reverse format, and then we are trying to compare that whether the reverse string and the forward string are one and the same or not. So we are reversing the string with the help of the for loop. for string j, now str to j, that is the zeroth index of str to j is equal to the last value of the string 1. Then j is incremented, that is the next value of string 2 is the second last value of the string 1. So, this is how the reversed string 1 is stored in string 2, and then finally the last value of string 2 is ended with the null pointer, null value, which is required for the string operations. After that, we are using the strcmp function to compare the two strings str1 and str2, and we are using strcmp function is a string comparison function defined in string.h. If you want to know something about this, just select this and press Ctrl F1 in TurboSync compiler. You will be able to understand that what strcmp function is all about. And if it returns a value 0, that means string 1 and string 2 are same. So, that means the string 1 entered by the user is a palindrome. That means forward and reverse string are one and the same. So, I hope you are able to understand that how string arrays operations, how different programming constructs like a looping construction, conditional constructs are used in programming for C language, and by understanding these things you will be able to write some programs in a better manner. Thank you very much.